It's Visual Journal Friday. If you'd like to know more about visual journaling, what it is, how it's different than keeping a regular sketchbook, how I use it with my students, how I think it could be helpful for you as an artist to grow, then check out my more in-depth description in episode 1 of the Visual Journal Friday series. Also, you can check out my blog post where I go into a lot of detail about it. I will have that link in the description below. Hello, happy Visual Journal Friday. We're ready for installment number 3. I started this book in 2010, finished in 2011. This is the book that started my flow of starting a book in the summer and finishing it the following summer. You can see the cover is sort of a collage mix mash of things. So that's sort of like a collage person on top of Damien Hirst skull. Well, the Damien Hirst skull is on top of the person with butterfly wings, fairy wings made of maps and found pages of things. We've got Ganesh here and some cut metal pieces that are sort of reflective mirrors. This is a piece off of a pad of old construction paper. At one time these were very colorful and frayed and it was beautiful, and construction paper doesn't hold up very well over the years. And the back looks like that. It is an octopus tentacle, and I glued on these rubber circles that have also sort of disintegrated over the years. And good old Smokey the Bear. It's a pretty fat book. Pretty happy with it. And let's check it out. All right, so page 1. Art teachers create, got some collage things. Not much to it. I think money was on my mind at the time, apparently. We struggled for a little bit financially after the break in the economy, 2008, 2009. So this wasn't long after that. We were probably still struggling. I thought it would be a nice meditation to copy down all of the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, and so that is what all of these words are. Copying and thinking about it as I wrote down what it says. Then I drew this on top of it. It looks like it's acrylic collage elements. Still copying it down with more collage elements. So this is a picture of Georgia O'Keeffe and her man at the time. I sort of covered him up because it doesn't really matter. It says, even when I'm old and gray, you make me feel so young. So it's the lyrics of that song. I do a lot of song lyrics. Alicia Keys for some reason, I don't know. Not sure why. We are too young to grow old. I don't think that's Alfred Stieglitz, but maybe it is. I don't know. I just really liked the look of the color with the black and white. This is Liam's handprints. 2010, so he would be 2.5. 2.5. Recipe for the Master Cleanse over here. I have done the Master Cleanse a couple times. I wouldn't recommend it. It's an exercise in willpower, but I don't think it's really a healthy thing to do. I don't know what that is. This is me drawing fish and dogs. I drew some of these from looking at my fish and looking at my dog. This pork chop is my dog. And I have had lots of fish over the years. I've had lots of big fish tanks. I'm down to one 50-gallon tank with some big fish in it. I don't know what this is. Playing around with color schemes. Same. Got these fun things in the mail from Target one year. So I just made a page around it because I thought it was a fun interactive thing. These little faces. That's fun. This said Liam, and then I put some maps over it, and there's an envelope here that has a picture in it. Ah, this is my mom and dad and me. That's cute. And that really, me as a baby looks a lot like Liam as a baby. Is there anything else in there? Nope. And then I probably put this in here because he was super into Spider-Man when he was this age. He sort of has revisited since the popularity of Spider-Man has come back around. We just went and saw the Spider-Verse. That was pretty cool. That was artistically amazing. Got what looks like maybe some dried hydrangea or something. And more finger painting by my son with a paintbrush that's sort of fused in there. And this is out of an old paint tray probably from painting the set for senior play. Some notes about all natural soap products, Doodles. Someone asked me to draw up some tattoo ideas. That is a chemical transfer. Turned out pretty nice. Just playing around with watercolor and ink. That's another chemical transfer. A tree and this woman with really long Rapunzel hair. She's holding her hair. I don't know why it's there. I always really liked the look of perfectly spaced squares in a grid. So this is watercolor paper that I painted and then cut apart and glued them perfectly spaced. A-okay. This looks like some alcohol inks. I used to play, someone left some in here and I didn't really know what they were, so I would play around with them, and I didn't realize you needed to use them on non-porous surfaces, so they didn't really do much because they just soaked in. This is a pretty cool page. I like it because there's some really neat textures going on. I think I used like some plastic wrap to lift to get sort of a watery texture, and then there's some ghostly seaweed images that I've drawn on there, and random spirograph doodles. I don't know why this says that. And that guy, little creature that probably was inspired by one of either the dog toys or the baby toys. And that is a page of cats. At the time, I think we only had Lulu, which is my oldest cat now. She's 15 now. And so I probably drew some from observation and some symbolic cats. Just looks like I was just trying to see how many different styles of cats I could draw. And it says, "Rar, Maki is a menace to society." We tried to get a second dog at one time, and it was a major mistake. We had to quickly get rid of her because she didn't get along with our original dog, and she had a temper and she barked a lot, and we were worried that she might end up doing something to the baby. So we found her a new home that didn't have other pets or babies. Notes on my national board certification. Still working on that at the time. Got that in the mail, thought it was cool. Made some art around it. More national board stuff. Exercise 1, personal art making processes. More on that. More national board stuff. Exercise 2, studying and interpreting art. Notes on art criticism and aesthetics, symbolism and metaphor. That's my name. I drew 3D letters. I think that this page was inspired by reading the book. There's a monster at the end of this book with Grover. I don't know if any of y'all remember that. Sesame Street book. There's a monster at the end of this book, and like he keeps trying to tell you not to turn the page. And my son just loved that book, and I loved it when I was little. And the text is very similar to that on one of the pages. Exercise 3, why do people create? The functions of art. Random drawings. I don't remember what inspired these. Exercise 4, the nature and value of art aesthetics. More national board stuff. Chemical transfer with doodles around it. Looks like that could be Beyonce. Maybe not. Exercise 5, the evolution of art. This has more of these in here. I'm not sure if this was glued down at some point and supposed to be an interactive pocket. I don't know. Randomness. Thought I was going to teach myself calligraphy at one point. Played around with it, but I am not neat and perfectionist enough for that, I think. We have a stairwell in our house that has this triangular wall space, and I was thinking of doing a mural on that at one point. So that's a sketch regarding that. Exercise 6 for national boards, forming processes, drawing, printmaking, sculpture, crafts, and painting. There was an element to the test that had to do with art history, so I tried to go back and remind myself of art history. So this is a timeline of art history: Ice Age, Stone Age, New Stone Age, Neolithic. This would be the Mesopotamian stuff here, and a little dandelion that has been pressed and preserved. Going to the Egyptian times, Aegean art, Greek art, Roman. Pompeii is exploding on my timeline. Pompeii is so fascinating and sad. Paisleys and Doodles. We have a national park. Is it national or state? Oh, it's the state Forest Service, the Holmes Educational State Forest that Liam loves to go to because they've put little speakers beside the trees. Just not all the trees, but like you walk along this path and every once in a while there'll be a little sign that says, push this button and this tree will talk to you, and then the tree will tell you what kind of tree it is and what they use the wood for and stuff like that. And he loves it. And now my daughter loves it too. We have visited there often. I drew that because it was cold outside, I guess. I don't know. These are just, I found images in magazines that inspired me and I sort of made art from them. I really like the look of this, how it's an environment and the environment's more developed than the figure, which is usually the other way around. And she also, her hair is put up in a sort of a vintage way, which makes it seem like maybe she's a ghost from the past. And then, I don't know, that's just beautifully intriguing. Doodle pattern Zentangle thingies. I don't know if you can see this little doll creature in here, but I drew a little figure. These are inspired by an artist. I don't remember their name to give them credit, but it was from the High Fructose magazine. It's an art magazine. And there was an artist in there that did these sort of creepy female doll figures. And I liked them, so I sort of copied them. I always liked the idea of transparencies and layers, so I probably intended to, no, it looks like it was glued down at one point and just came off. This is a collage of I don't know what. This is written backwards because my son used to write backwards unintentionally when he was first learning to write. No, this is not Liam. This is my goddaughter Haley's writing. It says, "Happy birthday, Aunt Courtney." She also used to write backwards when she was little. That is actually more common than you would think. Yep, she did it there too. List of things to bring on some trip, probably to the cabin where I saw Haley. And remnants of an old calendar that's been glued over. To-do lists. Oh, my trip to Kansas City to see my friend Betsy. This was a magazine spread, and I just thought that was so beautiful. I tried to draw the creature that it was attached to, so I sort of added this. Couldn't do all that texture though. That would have taken days. I could do it. I don't have the patience to do it. I think I was wanting to be Wonder Woman one year for Halloween. That didn't happen though. Because I'm cold in Halloween, and that does not look like a warm costume. Yeah, Halloween costumes. New Year's resolutions for 2011. Don't cut hair for a year, except, I don't know what that says. I was obsessed with having long hair for a while, and then I had long hair, and then I realized it wasn't that big of a deal. Visual journal daily, henna regularly if I like it. I dyed my hair with henna for a while. It was really red, and it's healthy for your hair. I would recommend it for strengthening your hair, and also I think it like straightens your hair a little bit. But I don't like, my skin color doesn't look good with red hair, I don't think, so I don't do it anymore. Study aesthetics. And there's stuff under there, doodles, trees, human figures, this. This is me receiving my national board certification, yay me. And nice notes from people that I care about and care about me. Congratulations on having perfect attendance as a teacher. It's 2009, 2010. Art superhero from Dr. VI. He called me a superhero. And this This is a mystery coloring page from a mystery student. I never figured out who it was, but it says, "You are a great and creative teacher. I love the way that you run your classroom. It is very inspiring to me." I have a feeling that that might have been a teacher and not a student. Sweet notes from students and teachers. And again, I don't really recommend making your visual journal into a scrapbook, but it's also good to have self-affirmation pages that remind you of the things you've accomplished and your self-worth and help your self-worth. So, you know, do it if you need to. These windows are fun. This one says best in class, and this one says independent. Art engine. Power. So these said more underneath, and it looks like I have selectively blacked out anything that didn't have to do with what I wanted to say. Vision. I don't know where that came from, but it was obviously like something that I tore out and arted on. This is set design for, what was this play? Oh yeah, Guys and Dolls. We did Guys and Dolls this year, so this was my sketch for the back wall, and that was one of the set pieces for the barn dance thing. This is the program, and that is just that. It is art. There's a lot going on this page. I have a feeling this has to do with just being a woman and feeling okay about yourself. Yep. There's words here, but I feel like they've been covered up on purpose. There was a lot of writing here. You can see it bleeding through, but I have painted over it. Oh my gosh, the whole page was written on. But I have purposefully covered over it, so I'm not going to crumbled beneath our feet. Yeah, I'm not going to read that. There's more writing. Oh my goodness. Writing can be a really nice start to a page, and then you can art over it, and you got your thoughts out of your head, and that's all that matters. You don't have to know what it said. I love this photography where the depth of field is so distorted that it almost looks like minifigures that have been posed in a little terrarium, but that's not. That's real. I want to do photography like that. Like, that inspires me to do photography. I want to do that. I think my friend was working with terrariums at the time, and I thought that was super cool. And so this is sort of me thinking about that. I do not have a green thumb though. And this is my love for Lady Gaga. She's the bomb. I love her. That's just a thank you note from the superintendent for being a teacher, I guess. Little love notes from students. Aw. Mouth duct tape. Apparently that was on someone's mouth at some point. It wasn't my mouth. I bet you it was Paul's mouth. Paul Brooks. Love Paul. And Marley. And Taylor Morris. And Ileana. And Zoe. Love you guys. Miss you. Doodles. Forms. Oh yeah, there's more Damien Hirst. I must have had a magazine with an article about him. Well, that's dark. Sometimes my art is dark, because it helps to make dark art, because then the darkness leaves. I don't have any explanation for any of this. It just is. This is cute. I love the color scheme and aesthetic of this pages. Oh, look at this little guy looking at the stars. Spirographs are awesome. I think I just have compiled things that felt beautiful together here. I don't know that there's a lot of meaning. This page, these pages have been woven together. I have cut them apart and woven them together. They are actually separate papers. Fonts. Red stuff. Color. I want maximum stimulation. I need texture. Art and the feminist revolution. Oh yeah, I saw these squares. And again, like I said, I don't know, something about, I guess it's the stability of it, but I love squares and grid-like spacing. So this was an image from a magazine, and I just sort of recreated it with some white out and then drew it again here and watercolored over it and sort of had it fade as it went up. And I just think it's beautiful. Like, I think that that could be an artwork if I could somehow, I want to recreate that. That's awesome. For some reason, this is just super appealing to me. Just drizzled some paint. Sometimes students leave paint laying around that's going to dry up and get ruined, so I'll just put it in my art. It's Bill Clinton. I don't know why, but there's Bill Clinton. Oh my God, and I made him the sunshine. I don't know why. It says mass-produced, sleek, technology, rich, something color, acrylic, spectacular, cattywampus, wabi-sabi. Oh yeah, I was studying about wabi-sabi. If you don't know what wabi-sabi is, you should look into it. That's a Zen circle. Aesthetics. Oh yeah, right. That makes sense. Studying aesthetics. That's wabi-sabi right there. What's wabi-sabi? That. There's notes about Wassily Kandinsky. I'm sure this has to do with National Board studying. Art is the search for truth. That's like photo booth art of us before Nayeli was born. I drew myself from my school picture. That is Wolf. I guess I drew that from that. Not very good. I can draw, visual journaling tends to be more collagey for me for some reason. The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The realist adjusts the sails. Op art. Some things sort of reoccur year after year in my book, and it's because there's certain times of year where I teach certain units, and op art is a unit that I teach every year. Linear perspective is a unit that I teach every year. Watercolor color theory is a unit that I teach every year. So sometimes they just seem to randomly show up in my books. The art show. I don't know. This page has disappeared from my memory over the years. I don't know why I did that. I just juxtaposed those two together from two separate magazines. I thought it was sort of hypocritical and ironic if it looked like they were looking at her based on who they are. Shouldn't do that to them. I'm sure they would not. They're probably thinking about the meaning of life, I'm sure. And this is like some silver leaf that I wasted on a page, but it's pretty. Collage stuff. I just love lenticular film. I wish I would have chopped off the word Crutchfield, but isn't that cool how it looks three-dimensional? I worked for a company that made some lenticular film bookmarks at one point, and so I got to learn how it works and the science behind it. The science behind it. And this is one of those end pages where random stuff got stuck that doesn't really go together but ends up looking cool anyway. Got some lyrics of Alanis Morissette, Elvis impersonator, a really cool winter hat, and of course Gonzo, because why not? This is a local artist that I ended up with her card. She's cool. What's her name? No, okay, so this is actually a business card of a man who bought one of my arts that also is a photographer who took a picture of a local artist. Gypsy is a local artist, but this Pearsall is a photographer who took her picture, who also bought some of my art. Small community. And of course, you know, gotta have some fortune cookie fortunes. That's it. We made it to the end. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Click the bell icon in order to get more notifications. And don't forget to check out my paintings and my merch like this shirt on seahulshart.com. Bye.